How's it going, guys? Welcome to the TheBlueShifting and welcome to the December Patroncast. Now, what's fun about this one is the December Patroncast. December is the anniversary of the channel. Like, I made the channel in December. I think I posted my first video technically in January, but like December was the christening of the TheBlueShifting, and so it's something I kind of want to remember. And when I started the Patreon, like as a way to help make sure that like this channel's future would be established, that the pattern and expectation and kind of like the path to hopeful wishful thinking, obviously, but the path towards independence and like full-time YouTubing would be established early on. I'm far from being able to do that, and it could seem a little greedy to be like talking about that kind of stuff, you know, right now, but like the idea, of course, always was to be grounded in expectations, being like, look, I'm going to run this channel as if it's a successful business already, and I'm going to build in practices and maintain like certain expectations of myself that would reflect a full-fledged business that's actually like self-sustaining rather than a glorified hobby, which is currently what it is, but that's perfectly fine. It's wonderful. So yeah, Patroncast is just a way for me to kind of reach out to the patrons who are supporting me directly and to kind of give them a heads up. And in December, I like to make a public one. So today, welcome to the December one. Now, why is it so late? Why is it like almost mid-January when this is coming out? Well, there were some things I wanted to get into order because there were some big changes coming up and some ideas and plans I was kind of getting ready to put into place that are finally ready to start launching, and I wanted to talk about them in a video. Like, my shirt's all messed up, of course, you know. Most of these are very unscripted. I've got like notes on my phone I'm going to be reflecting to, so if you see me looking down a lot, it's me like looking at these notes just because there's an order I want to present things and there's a way I want to talk about them. We're going to be talking about them there, but first and foremost, I think the most important thing I want to share with you, and something I really want to make public, something that I'm very excited about, I have a new addition to the family and, frankly, to the channel. So I'm going to introduce you. Hopefully, it's not something that makes you uncomfortable. Obviously, you can skip ahead if it does. I can't think of why it would, but, like, I don't know. I can't speak for you. But I have a new addition to the family, and I think I want to make it an official addition to the channel as well. Say hello to this little girl. I'm going to actually kind of bring her up to the camera a bit. This is Maya. Maya is a ball python snake. I obviously have a bias for the name, but I think it's a beautiful name, and she's got a morph, so she won't look like, if you Google up a ball python, she doesn't, like, most of them don't look like this. Morphs are kind of captive bred, like, so like genetics that have been kind of tailored to kind of get snakes to have or any reptiles that get a certain look. I guess it works with anything, like dogs and everything do this too. So she's a morph called a purple passion. So you can see here, she's got kind of like a purple, like lilac tint to her, especially to her head. It gets a little duller up the body, and I don't think the camera captures it very well. But like you can see, it runs down her whole body. She's got this really beautiful kind of yellow stripe up her back with little symbols on the side. Those are very reminiscent of her parentage, which involves some albino mixes in there. And also just like her sides are just this really pretty kind of white, like she has a white belly, like a pure white belly. And she's just the sweetest little girl. I've always loved snakes. I've always thought snakes were wonderful animals. If you see my little avatar, it's a, like, I met someone online who did art of kind of like mixed, like monster type, like humanoids. And I really got charmed with their artwork, and it was one of those like starving artist moments where they're like, hey, like my bills are coming up and I haven't been having many commissions, so I'm doing like a sale. And so I was like, yeah, I want to support you. I like your work. And so I got one that was me of a snake, like a lamia type of like a avatar. that I've used on the Discord because I think it's great, and I always thought it's really fun. I just loved snakes, and like I always wanted to get a pet snake, but we finally just pulled the trigger on it. She's so cute. She's so explorative. Like a lot of ball pythons get really scared, and like being under so much light and having me talking and like kind of putting her like in the spotlight, most snakes I think would be really scared. Like ball pythons, they're called ball pythons because they bunch up when they get nervous. But as you can see, she's pretty chill. She's just kind of exploring. She's looking around, so I'm going to be holding her while I'm doing the rest of this presentation, but I just wanted to say hello to Maya, for you guys all to meet Maya. You know, she's going to be an addition. I hope to make her a feature on the channel. If she stays really social and comfortable like this, I'd love to bring her in when I'm reading stories and just kind of like have her around, maybe be able to play with her. As she gets bigger, she might get comfortable wanting to like drape around my shoulders and everything and just like kind of being around. So I'm hoping to kind of help her be a staple of the channel. I also want, oh, she's giving me a little bit of a hug. I also wanted to say that if there are any aspiring or actual artists out there and you're interested, I potentially would like to do a commission with Maya, me and Maya, or just Maya, or really, I'm open to many ideas, but I think it'd be fun to do another piece of art for the channel. I think it'd be really fun to have Maya be a part of it somehow. Like, I mean, we can have her just like as she is, or she's beautiful as she is. I think it'd be really fun to see. Like, it's kind of weird to say it because like I've always thought it was like really strange when people get like a cat girl version of their actual cat, but at the same time I can't say I'd be super interested to see what a Lamia version of Maya would look like. It'd be really fun to see something like that. So I'm kind of putting out a soft bounty on that. I've got a bit of a budget. I'd say probably you know, based on your standard commission rates, maybe I don't want to throw out an actual number, but I've got a solid number in here. So if you'd like to be commissioned and think it'd be a fun project to jump onto, and maybe something you'd be like invested in, or just like think it'd be enjoyable, I'll happily pay you for the trouble. So please make sure to message me in Discord or leave a comment and reach out to me and like kind of like give me a link to like what you do, and we can discuss prices. Like obviously I can't hire everybody, and so like I'm sure that it's either going to be like I won't hear from anybody and we just won't get any art, or I'll hear from too many people and I'll only be able to pick one or two. So like please don't take it personally if I like don't end up signing up with you or something. I doubt it's because I didn't think you're good enough. It's probably a combination of just like first come first serve, budget, time, and all of that. Woo! she's just exploring. She's just checking it out. But like the thing is too, she's not displaying any like nervous tics or anything. And the funny thing is like you're not even seeing her in her prime. I think she's getting ready to shed, so she seems a little duller than she was just a week ago. So yeah, I think like you'll get the chance to see her really shine in the future. But I just wanted to introduce you and say hello. So yeah, again, if you want to get a good idea of how she looks, like if you don't feel like the video has been able to provide you a good picture, just Google ball python purple passion. And you'll get a really good sense for how she looks. And she's just such a social creature. She's very gentle. She spends most of her time wanting to just kind of hide and hang out, but like when she's out and about, like she is right now, like this is the time of day, like middle of the night, when she's most active. So it's really fun to kind of have her out with me right here. So she'll just be kind of playing around with my hands. I might be a little distracted with her, but that's okay. I mean, she's my little baby. He's so sweet. She's so small right now. She's only 4 months old. They can live like 15 to 30 years easily in captivity when they're properly cared for. And like when she's fully grown, she'll probably be somewhere about 4 and 5 feet long. They like females can get up to 6.5 feet long if you get like a real, but those are like unusual, like fringe cases, not likely with her. So yeah, she'll just be hanging out with us for a little while. If I think she's getting too stressed, I'll probably put her away, but so far she's really doing really well. So we're gonna keep her here and just kind of like let her chill while I cover everything else. So I know it's a big long intro, but I just wanted to introduce you to Maya. And yes, it's spelled like Maya from Maya Mitsurugi, so you know it makes sense, right? I mean, it doesn't take a stretch of the imagination to know why like that name is meaningful to me and always will be. Okay, so Now to get to the meat and potatoes of this, like why else would I delay this episode? It wasn't just getting her, although we did only get her about a week and a half ago. So, you know, that was part of it. It was a process of making sure that we were ready and that we had a cage ready for her and everything. But I've got a new thing going on this year. Since I've upped the amount of content I can cover on the channel and expanded it a little bit beyond like its normal like branches, I've also recognized that just listening to your recommendations on the Discord, it's great. I love having the catalog there. It gives me a good idea of like the kind of stuff you guys are interested in watching me cover on the channel, but I think it's time for us to get a bit more engaged, or at least give you an opportunity to get more engaged. Obviously, I can just pick whatever I want, but I think it'd be really fun to get a good feeling for what you as an audience wants. So we're going to be launching something that I'm blatantly copying from one of my favorite channels, Many a True Nerd. We're going to be launching Democracy Week. What is Democracy Week? Well, it's pretty much going to be, we're going to be cultivating a list of games that I would like to play in the near future. Specifically, we're going to be trying to narrow down a list of exactly what titles we're going to try and cover in this year. Because things are so long for this channel, like just like how long it takes for us to wrap a story, I don't think it'd be fair for us to try and say this is something that would go beyond like this year, like getting more than one in each category, you could say. But I broke it up into the different things. We're going to be doing straw polls, so you won't be able to see the results. You should just be voting for what you want, not what you think will win. And it's going to be a bit multi-staged, and please pay attention because if you're actually a patron, you are going to help me cultivate a list specifically, something I'm going to be working very closely with any of you who have any input. Now, granted, if you don't have anything to say or just don't really care, I'll just be making decisions on my own, but any patrons who are like active this month are going to be getting a message probably a day or two after this has gone live, where we're going to be kind of getting things started, because I want to get the Democracy Week going off like by the end of this month. So like this is going live on the 19th of January. I think I want Democracy Week to be taking place starting on the 31st of January and going into the first week of February. So like you should be seeing communications from me through Patreon. Like I can message you through Patreon directly, kind of go straight to your email. And I'm also going to be posting and can be contacted on the Discord channel in the Patreon sections. So what's going to happen is you're going to help me cultivate the final list that we get to vote on. So I've already made a few selections of games I'm going to be showcasing here today, but then you guys are going to be able to have an opportunity to kind of add like 1, 2, maybe 3 titles to each category that we get to add to the voting. And then I'll get to discussing the voting itself in a little bit. But first of all, I kind of want to give you a teaser for the things that I am currently considering and kind of like the way I'm breaking up the categories for each day of the week that we're moving forward. So this is why I need to start looking at my notes. So we're going to be doing, effectively it's going to be elimination system. So each day I'm going to put up a straw poll, and straw polls are going to be up for 24 hours. You can vote anytime you want on the series. Out of the selection, you can pick one of the series that you just really want to see. Then the least voted option, or 2, gets eliminated, and then the next day we do another round. So like that way, if you feel like you voted for something that you really wanted to see, but it doesn't get like any support at all, it's not like your vote just got thrown away. You get to recast your ballot for like the next likely thing. So that way we can do this elimination. I think it's a way to make it really, really fair. Again, this is something I've watched Many a True Nerd do, and I think it's a really great way to kind of make sure that the community feels like you get to be engaged, because it's like I've already cultivated a list of games I want to play, but the list is huge, and frankly, I think it'd be good for us to make this decision together, especially now that we're having so much more content on the channel. Now, each day of the week has a kind of theme. If you've been paying attention, you might have picked up on it, but it's really subtle. So like, it's not like it's something I expect you to just have known right away. Oh, I almost shift my hand a little bit, and now she's like on the move again. All right. So each day is each day of the week is kind of set into a category, though it's very loose. Like I could easily play fast and hard with it, but you can expect to have something like you expect a theme for each day of the week as we go through. So you vote, lowest gets eliminated, and eventually when any category gets more than 50% of all the votes, they will be just declared the winner, because that means that it like unless like not above 50%, but like if you get such enough of an advantage, like there's a point where it's like we can declare a winner, clear out. All right, so what are we going to have the categories be? So the first category is going to be the Monday Mega Series. This has been the champion spot of muv-luv for as long as you can remember, and I kind of like the idea of us having like large serial series, like games that have sequel after sequel or expansion after expansion, or in general are just so big like you can't just relegate them to like a one and done type of deal. So these are major commitments. This is probably the most effective, like this is going to be the vote that's going to have the longest like lasting effects on the community and the channel at large. And it's also the one that we're going to see like it's going to take the longest for us to actually enact, because I still have to finish the day after tomorrow, all those series, and then there's a decent chance that we're not quite done with muv-luv yet, where Total Eclipse might have been officially translated and released. And if it has been, at that point, we'll probably just roll straight into that, unless there's a large community outcry saying, like, you guys are sick of muv-luv and want me to move on. I highly doubt that. But we still need to decide eventually when we either have a break in like new releases from muv-luv, or simply just like it's time for us to move on to something else. It's time for us to pick up another large series, something that's probably going to sink our teeth in for a while. So this is probably the most important categories for you to vote on. The examples and the titles I'm throwing into the ring right now, like me myself, I'm like, these are the titles I want us to consider. Like my patrons get to help add more to this list. Keep that in mind. So it's a good day. It's a good time to become a patron if you've been on the fence about it. Just so you have like a lot of say in what's going on in the near future for the channel. But some of the titles I'm planning on throwing into the ring here are the Higurashi series, which is humongous. The Fruta Grisaya. Fruta Grisaya. That one's interesting because Fruta Grisaya is the core, but it has has a sequel and like a prequel and then like a super prequel. So I'll have to do a little research on what order is best to like showcase it in, but essentially that series. Or Fate. I don't know if I can do all of the Fates. Heck, it's gonna be a cluster truck just trying to get Stay Night, but that's the goal, be Stay Night. And I might have to do multiple endings in that one. So that's another one why I'm kind of making that one a mega series, because kind of like Steins Gate, like it's almost like injustice to just do one ending on it. So yeah, we'll have to see about that one. That one, I'm kind of scared of that one. There's a lot of reasons why that one's a scary one, but like I've seen enough people being successful, and Nasu has pretty much just said screw you to anybody who wanted like an official translation of any of their games. So I think I'll just go with the fan translation at this point. Like I was really hoping that they would change that, especially with like the kind of revolution in VNs we're seeing right now, where like a lot of them are getting remade and getting re-released and getting a lot more support than they used to have. But with the recent like remasters that have been made, and the fact that there's he's literally said like we're not going to translate it and localize it for very dumb reasons. Like I don't think I can be patient anymore, so I'm throwing it in. I think it's about time we at least try to cover it on the channel. So Monday, for my people can throw more options into this, but Higurashi, Fruta Grisaya, and Fate Stay Night are the three that I think we're going to definitely be voting on for the Monday slots after we finish muv-luv, so it might still be a while. Tuesday is going to be interesting. I want Tuesday to be something like, what did I call it? A Tuesday wild card. I think Tuesday, right now it's a Pokemon Nuzlocke. I want it to be a slot for something that that's a little more like difficult to slot into a specific category, but it's something I still want to cover on the channel. Pokemon Nuzlocke being a good example. But this is a series that I kind of want to I want it to be flexible. So like I don't mind this one being visual novels. I just think it'd be good to switch it out between visual novels and not. So what are some of the things I think would be a good fit for our Tuesday slot? Well, Imposter Factory, which is like the third installment of a series after To the Moon. Imposter Factory came out fairly recently, and it'd be really fun to cover it because, quality storytelling in that. Kaori After Story, which is a visual novel. It's after Ace Academy, assuming that you went down the Kaori romance route. It's a little offbeat for like my channel because I didn't go down the Kaori route. Well, not publicly anyway. But if that's something that's of interest to you guys and like you don't mind like having a VN that's a little bit more like isolated, it's like another one of those ones where it's like it's so niche, like it's only something I would really cover if there's a lot of attention, and like it would never win stacked up against like major titles like, you know, Chaos Head, Chaos Child, or Higurashi. But I still think it's something to be worth exploring sometime on the channel. So I want to throw that out there. And then I got a Oculus Quest 2 for Christmas, so I can explore the games of VR, and I've been having a blast with this so far. So I think it'd be really fun to do a playthrough of Half-Life Alyx, which is probably one of the best VR games that's ever been made that I haven't really touched yet. Like, I've been kind of nervous to. It might be kind of fun to do some recordings in VR, and that would be a really interesting one storyline-wise, especially to cover on the channel. A lot of VR games are very much like experience-based, so it's like it wouldn't make a great video unless you just like watching me stumble around like an idiot, which, I mean, to be fair, touche, probably pretty fun. But Alyx, Half-Life Alyx is like a genuinely good story, so I think it would be a great fit for the channel. No idea how long it is, and again, you'd probably just watch me stumble around like an idiot, but it's something I think would be worth considering. Now we're going to jump to Wednesdays. Wednesday standalones. I want this to be visual novels strictly, and I want Wednesdays to be visual novels that are not as serialized. Like muv-luv is serialized. It's got so many different titles that are part of its like grander lore, and it's like it'd be a shame to leave stuff out. Like technically I would have, in the current system, I would have slotted Fata Morgana into the Monday, except I didn't know it had expansions when I picked it up, and so I would slot it into the Wednesday if I hadn't known, but like it also only had like 1 or 2, so not as big a deal to be slotted on a Wednesday. Sorry about the yawning, I'm very tired today. But it's not about the length of the series itself, it's just more about like we go in, we play the game, and when it's over, we move on to something else, kind of visual novels. So, what are those choices I picked for this one? Well, there's Baldur's Sky, which have been clambered around for a while. Keep in mind, I can only show the first ending. It's one of those stories, it's like, kind of like Steins Gate, where like you really need to like go through multiple routes to really get the entire story. However, the publishers have said they will only allow streaming up to the first ending. So the fact that we can get to an ending makes me feel like, okay, we could cover it on the channel, because at least we get an ending. I hate the idea, like if I tried to cover Danganronpa right now, I could only get to the end of the first chapter. I'm not going to spend my time only going to a chapter. That just seems silly to me. Hopefully they'll change their mind, but I doubt it. Well, it'll be a time thing for Danganronpa, so that one's shelved for now. But I think Baldur's Sky letting me at least get to the first ending, while it's probably the worst and most boring ending, it's enough. I think it's worth at least considering. Making Lovers is one I personally thought looked really fun. It's a very sweet kind of romantic story that's like not just like about like falling in love, but it's about like a relationship post falling in love, which I think is a story that anime, manga, and visual novels don't cover very much. Like the whole like, so you get the girl, but then what? So I think it'd be really fun to explore that. Really cute, got tons of great ratings. And Rewrite, because Rewrite just very recently got re-released and it's available and I could go grab it. So I think I technically already own it, but if not, I intend to own it. So like, it's definitely one I want us to cover at some point, and I figured that would be a great one for a Wednesday slot. Now, Thursdays are going to be not visual novel based at all. Like Tuesdays, wildcard, it can be whatever. Just depends on that's where I just put stuff that like doesn't really fit the mold anywhere else, but I still think would be worth considering heavily. Thursdays, I want it to be games that are narrative based. Kind of like Persona 5 I'm playing right now, just not strictly visual novels. Like they can have visual novel influence for sure, but like the idea is like there's more to core gameplay. Because I think those games are really fun, they should be worth highlighting. And so like I want to do it. So my picks for this one are, there's a predictable one I've been expressing for a while, wanting to cover Mass Effect Legendary series, like where you just play through 1, 2, and 3, boom, boom, boom. It'd be really, really fun because it's one of my favorite series of all time. Legend of Heroes Trails of Cold Steel has been highly recommended in the Discord, despite the fact that it's not a visual novel. Many of you have actually said that you think that'd be a great thing for the channel, so I want to throw this in here. Like, I think it'd be a great fit for our Thursday slot after P5R is done. And then the last one I want to throw in is a personal one that I know I want to play at some point. I think it'd be really fun to do on the channel because I'm pretty blind, other than the fact that I think the series looks amazingly fun, is Yakuza. And I think I would start with Yakuza 0. Not the first game that was released, but chronologically, it technically comes first. And a really good friend of mine who loves Yakuza told me that he would recommend I start with Yakuza 0, just because it's a really well-made game that really does a good job of establishing characters. And he says, like, Yakuza Kiwami, which is technically like the first one, is a little like, it's dated, it can be kind of a grind, it's not the most fun. But he's like, he said it helped him get invested with the characters in Zero to then do Kiwami and then continue on to the other games, which all of them are fantastic. So that'd be really fun to do a chain where we go through the Yakuza games. But yeah, so that's a good sampling of kind of like the games I'm really looking to cover on the channel. And like, but the thing is, like, obviously there's no way we can even get close to covering all of these in a year. Heck, this could be something that takes a couple of years to go through. So I really want to get a bead on kind of what you all are thinking and kind of what direction you guys would be interested in seeing the channel take next. So if you're a patron, keep an eye out on communications. If there's anything you want to add to any of these categories, you can send me a message and I can probably add them. I think I'm going to have like I want to have like 4 or 5 choices in each category. So that means patrons have an opportunity to add 1 or 2 based on just their collective voices, and maybe even changing one. If you guys like look into it, you're like, oh no, like I looked at Making Lovers and it's terrible. I think it'd be a horrible addition. It's got like tons of stuff that just doesn't make sense for your channel. Like, you guys can kind of give me that insight and we can cultivate the final list before the actual voting goes live in 2 weeks. But remember, when the voting goes public, it's going to be conducted on public polls on the channel community page. We're going to send links to like straw poll, and you guys will just put in your votes. We'll do elimination. The votes will be going on every day. So all you have to do is check the community tab every day of that week, update, put in your votes on whatever like is still around. And then when we get to that finalized list, you can know what's next on the docket when we get through the current state of affairs on the channel. And it's just a great chance for us to kind of collaborate and kind of figure out, like, because like I'll be happy with anything I posted on. I've been saying here today, like any of the titles I told you, all of them sound fantastic. I'd happily play any and all of them. So I'd really like to know, what is it the people who are, making this possible for me, the patrons who are directly supporting me, and then the people who are giving me views or comments or likes, like the things that make a channel successful. Like, this channel is yours as much as mine. And so, like, we're a team, we're a crew. It's time for us to kind of have an opportunity to work together and collaborate on what's coming up next. So yeah, we're going to be doing all that stuff. So I hope you guys find this all really exciting. I hope you don't mind this video. And I hope you don't mind, there's a really good chance that this video is taking enough editing and is so important that we might be skipping Fata Morgana's video this week. I'm hoping not. I might be able to squeeze it in tomorrow, but like, this video's got to come out, and I want it to come out on the 19th. And if it means delaying Fata Morgana for a week, I'm willing to do it, because this is just so critically important for the channel and for the next year. So keep in mind, this is the Patroncast. I will be doing a follow-up Patroncast for January, probably at the end of the month. Most likely, I'm going to be kind of giving a summary of what we're doing leading up to the Democracy Week, and just kind of funneling like maybe my thoughts about this entire process, or maybe like some of your thoughts as patrons to me, as long as you're comfortable with me saying them. Oh, and I have one last thing to say. Another reason why it might be good to become a patron if you're interested is that I actually got a channel PO box fairly recently, and patrons are going to have access to that address. If you ever wanted to send something that you want me to feature in a video or on the channel, if you want to send something fun my way, or a joke or a meme of some kind, you can reach me now. And in a way that's responsible. So like, I'm not like doxing myself, but in a way that like, if you ever want to do like, send me something that you wanted to see displayed in a video, or something you like, or just want me to have, or maybe you want to give me a hint, nudge, nudge of a game to play, like that's like undeniable. You know, like I've seen a lot of people do like fun things with PO boxes, and I think it'd be good to, like, if you ever want to send me something, that you have the option. I'm not going to be expecting things, like, please don't feel like you have to get me anything, but I think if a patron wants to have access to being able to send me maybe even just a personalized letter or something like that, I want to give you that opportunity. But I want to show you a little bit about the inspiration for it. So a really good friend and supporter of the channel who happens to work at Fruitbat Factory, who's helped to supply the game keys for many of the best titles we've covered on our Friday Spotlight series, like current series Mamiya, but things like Seabed and fetch. What was the one we just had? Junguji, like the one that was like really stylized and like had animated sequences. It was about like the like the Shinto like monk and like zombie. I don't know. I can't think of its name, but it was a really, really fun series we did not too long ago. Yeah, Fruitbat Factory were the ones that helped provide that, and like they've been a really big supporter of the channel for at this point years. And so it's been really fun being able to interact with them. I hope to continue to work with them because they not only are helping like localize visual novels that might struggle to get like attention outside Japan anyway, but they also just have a good community-based thinking and activating. They've got a really fun Discord. They have like a custom game, 100% Orange Juice, which is just a really fun, effectively pseudo board game / Mario Party. It's really fun and worth checking out for sure. But yeah, like they've just been really fun, and like they're kind of part of the lifeblood of the channel. Like they're always going to be meaningful for me at this point because they believed in me when I was still really, really small, and like they gave me a shot and like, you know, continue to support the channel to this day. And so I'm really grateful to them. And they sent me some goodies recently. So first of all, they sent me these little buttons that are some of their 100% orange juice characters that are just really sweet and adorable. I almost don't want to take them out of the packaging because I know I'm going to lose them if I do. So I kind of just keep them here, but it's just really, really fun. But then the most beautiful thing they sent me was something that I like considered buying, but never like I never really got around to getting. And that's a physical copy of Seabed. Now, if somehow you haven't heard about Seabed, it's literally one of the best visual novels I've ever read. Like, if I put my top chart, it goes like muv-luv, Steins Gate, Seabed. It's like so good. It was such a really, really good story, fantastic twist, wonderful characters, and it's also one of those projects that was made obviously like on a budget. Like, it's a really good example of like how a good story that's well written and well crafted and well thought out doesn't need a massive budget or a crazy amount of like custom art to be compelling. It's such an incredible tale, and it's like, it got me, I was crying, it had me in tears, especially like when you get towards the end, like, oh my gosh, it's amazing. And it's one of my cornerstone like examples of like chef's kiss, like mwah, beautiful storytelling. So to get this, because like they after I covered it, they got it put on Switch, and this is like a physical collector's edition, and like they sent this to me, and I'm so blown away. Like, it's another one of those things, like I don't ever want to open it because like I played the crap out of that game. I love the game. I almost want to hold on to it just because it's like it means so much to me. Like I want to keep it pristine because it's such an amazing story that I got to be a part of the community of. Like the fact that like there are people who still like find my channel by finding those videos and like talk about how much they enjoyed like watching my playthrough of it. And I still, like, one of the most memorable things that ever happened to me was when I got a personal message on Twitter from the person who wrote the story for Seabed. Like, she lives in Japan, doesn't speak like hardly any English at all. And like, you know, we had to rely on Google Translate to communicate. So who knows, she might have been insulting me and I wouldn't have caught on. But like, she messaged me and she's like, thank you for playing my game. She expressed to me how like she was really hesitant to allow streaming rights. It was kind of part of the contract of like letting it get localized and translated by Fruit Bat Factory, talking about how like, oh yeah, we'll send up promotional copies and people might make like videos on it and stuff. And she said she was like, she understood it was a decent idea, but like she was really hesitant. She was like worried that like people might not like it, or that like they might be critical of it, because like, again, it's not like it's a super like impactful budget type of game. It's like a small dev team, like an indie game. Like it's like one of the like perfect example of an indie visual novel. And like I think she was worried people might be like hypercritical of it, that foreigners might not get it, that they might not like that people would not like vibe with the story for whatever reason. You know, it's the panicked voice inside every creator when you put your heart and soul into a project. Like, you're terrified people will hate it. And so she was very like unsure of how she felt about it being streamed, but she found my videos. I don't know if Fruit Bat Factory like sent them to her or if she just found them organically, because I'm definitely not the only person to cover the game by far. But she watched my series and she sent me a message saying like, I couldn't understand what you were saying, but the emotions you were feeling were so easy to read. I was able to join you for the journey through my game. And she said it was touching to see how personally I was taking things and how invested I was getting in it. And she was really grateful that I was covering her game. And like that, like she was very like, she said it opened her eyes to like the benefit of having streamers and like YouTubers cover games. And so like we just got in this little conversation where I talked about like how incredible the game was and how like it genuinely was life-changing. Like, it's one of those stories that like it'll never leave me. It makes my life better, makes my existence a better place, and like the way I think about things and see things is just improved because of a story that's that powerful and so well written. And like I really hope I can someday get to meet her and like thank her properly for the game, because like I want to do that for like everybody who makes games that like really change my world. But like it's so cool that Fruit Bat Factory not only like brought that game to my attention, but that they make it such a personal journey, and that they were able to get me something like this because they know it means a lot to me. So thank you, Fruit Bat Factory. Thank you so much for believing in me and letting me do what I do. And like, you know, it's mutual beneficiary. Like ideally, like I cover games, I can give them a spotlight, I can help showcase and maybe hopefully drive it so that people find these visual novels that might go under the radar and buy them and, you know, enjoy the story. Supporting developers, supporting the translators, like I'm all for that. And there's a financial like backing to that, sure, but there's a passion too. And that's really what matters to me. So thank you. Thank you a million times. And so if you ever want to express something to me as simple as a thank you, or you want to tell me like I'm an idiot or whatever, and you're a patron, the P.O. box should be posted on the patron page. So if you ever want to send me something for whatever reason, like you should be able to. And I think it's something that's worth like keeping open. Obviously, if it doesn't get used, I might close the P.O. box, but for now, let's just put it open. See what happens. Don't bomb me or anything, please. I know you wouldn't, but like still, I feel like I have to say that a little bit. It's like it's scary. It's scary putting myself out there in a way like that, but again, it's the safest way to do it, doing it in a P.O. box, because that's not tied to my actual address. Because as much as I love you guys, I should have my own private life too. Anyway, so thank you guys so much for this. Thank you for the wonderful year that was 2021. It was a crap year in a lot of ways, but for the channel, I think it was one of my favorite years we've had, just because the channel grew and it got more established. And whilst it was really painful of ending a year when school just really fell through and I don't really know what I'm doing with that anymore, I think falling into the channel and to new projects that I'm launching, and like some secret projects that I'm hoping to like share with you guys fairly soon, the future's looking real exciting. Let's just say that. More content to be covered, more stuff to do, hopefully a lot of growth for the channel. So here's to the beginning of a new year. Here's a start to 2022. Hopefully big things are in store. and to the addition of Maya to the channel. Say hi, Maya. Yeah, can you flick your tongue at them? I think she's a little nervous. But she's gorgeous. She's just such a pretty snake. She's so social. I love her. I love her to pieces. So thank you guys so much for everything you do. I hope you enjoyed this Patroncast. Remember, if you really like this stuff, I try and post these every month. I got a little shaky when school kicked into high gear, but I'm going to be back into swing of things this year, doing one a month. Just kind of like, I can answer your questions directly. I can just tell you a little bit what's going on in my life. I often will share like other hobbies that I have. Like I've done some like model painting. I've talked about Magic, the Gathering. But yeah, like it's just an opportunity for you to kind of like get to know a little bit more about what's going on behind the scenes, get a little taste of what's coming, and helping me select games to come in the future, like what's happening for Democracy Week and pretty much all Friday series, like the Spotlight series. I run pretty much everything I'm about to do on my Friday like series by my patrons. So your active patrons are actively involved in the channel. And if there's ever any ideas you have or ways you want to interact with the channel as a patron that I haven't covered yet, I'm always willing to give you an ear, hear what you gotta say about that. But I've rambled long enough. My throat's getting a little sore. Oh, Maya's saying hi. See her? She's looking at you guys. Anyway, thank you guys so much. You guys are wonderful. What an awesome group of people, a good community we've got with us here. Thank you so much. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day, a great rest of your week, and a great rest of your month, especially as we get ready to start picking some of the new titles we're going to be exploring this year. But until next video watching me, I will see me next. I'll see you there. Bye, guys.